2 steps ahead. I am always 2 steps ahead. No, I'm just kidding. I had no faith in this team. Thank God I was wrong. Welcome to The Dugout. I'm your host, Joseph Silva. And on today's episode, we are recapping the World Series where my beloved Dodgers finally won it and brought it home. Oh my God, it was an indescribable feeling. It was an indescribable series, but I'm going to try my best to describe what happened for all of y'all. But before we get started, if you're enjoying the content, go ahead and leave a like. Subscribe to the Run the Play Network. Baseball may be over, but basketball and football are getting started and are in the full swing. I wouldn't want to miss episodes of You Know Ball in the Hot Seat, and you guys shouldn't either. Now, Game 1 was undeniably an all-time classic, yet it did not end up being the best game of this series, but we're going to talk about that down the line. Unbelievable pitchers duel between Flaherty and Cole. The Dodgers really hit a lot of balls to the warning track off Cole. Couldn't get one to go over, unfortunately, whereas Flaherty made I don't even want to call it a mistake. It was a good pitch. It was just an unbelievable swing by Stanton to put the Yankees ahead 2-1. And then Ohtani just sat changeup off Canely in the 8th, hit the double, just missed his home run. And then this is going to be a theme in the series, but bad defense by the Yankees really cost them there because on the relay in, Volpe couldn't handle the ball. Rizzo wasn't there to back it up. The pitcher wasn't there to back it up. All of a sudden, Ohtani's at third, sacrifice fly, game's tied. We go to the 10th, and oh my God, I had a heart attack. Chisholm, unbelievable base running, 2 stolen bases, gets home, really manufactures a run for the Yankees out of nowhere to make it 3-2. Dodgers do all that they can, force out Weaver, bring in Nestor Cortez to face Freddie Freeman, and Ohtani, yeah, that did not go well for them. And it was an incredible moment. It was such a reminiscent moment of the Kirk Gibson home run, from the time to the swing to the injured player, the former MVP, all that stuff. You've heard it all before. But I just want to say, the moment we've all dreamed of as kids, I'm glad fell to Freddie Freeman, a man who struggled not only this year, but in his entire life. He lost his mom to skin cancer. He almost lost his dad as well. He got COVID super bad, thought he was going to die. Had so much trouble with his son. Was absolutely mocked by this fan base by how he reacted that first season coming back to Atlanta, and how the Braves treated him on the way out too. This man is about as close to Job as we're ever going to get in baseball. And to see him have this moment and have this otherworldly World Series, I am glad it was Freeman that did it, because he deserves it more than anything. He and his dad deserve it more than anything. Fantastic moment. And what a way to start the series. In Game 2, the Dodgers offense struck early and often. A couple 2-run home runs put him up early, and then Yoshinobu Yamamoto shut the door. 6 1/3 innings pitched, 1 hit, the home run to Soto, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. Unbelievable stuff from him. He really does hate the Yankees because his other start was 7 scoreless against him. And he was dominant. He was locked in. The strikeouts don't look good, but he was forcing a lot of weak content, a lot of bad contact, and that's exactly what the Dodgers needed, with great length too. Ohtani does get injured in the 8th, and it turns out to be a massive deal as he does not look comfortable for the rest of the series swinging that bat. The shoulder was affecting him. We'll see how bad it is in the coming weeks when they actually tell us, oh yeah, it was bad, but he just wanted to play. And come on, the badass English text in the group chat where he's telling him, I'm going to be in the lineup for Game 3. Unbelievable stuff there. Little bit of traffic and a scare from the Yankees in the 9th, but does not amount to nothing. Dodgers take a 2-0 lead going back to the Bronx. And in Game 3, they all said the Yankees need to get a hot start. Nope, Freddie is going to have the hot start. Another 2-run home run to silence the Bronx, and it wasn't particularly close after that. It was 4-0 basically the entire way through, and then Alex Verdugo hits a Chris Paul-esque home run to cut the lead to 2. Nothing much from the Yankees after that. Dodgers win that 4-2. However, a lot of the bullpen arms were used in that game, and that's going to play a factor in this series both for the Yankees and the Dodgers. In Game 4, Yankees came out to play, exploded offensively, and was close for a while, but Hudson and Honeywell blew it and really ruined the Dodgers' chances for a sweep. And then on top of that, too, Hudson threw 40 pitches, Honeywell threw 40 pitches, Kasparius threw 50 pitches, and Knack ate the rest of those innings, which comes into play right now for Game 5 because this game is the most chaotic game of baseball I have ever witnessed. Jack Flaherty really needed to give the Dodgers length. He gave them 4 outs and a 5-0 deficit. Or a 4-0 deficit. It is unbelievable how poor and ineffective Flaherty was in this game. And I know he really wants it. It's his hometown team. I'm not criticizing him for it whatsoever. But it then forces Roberts' hand to use Banda, Vesia, Kopech, all the big arms earlier than he plans. And slowly but surely that bullpen becomes a little more depleted. And there's really a question of who's going to get outs for this team here. Because we don't even know if we're going to be in contention going into the late innings. And then Aaron Judge drops the ball in the 5th. And then Anthony Volpe goes to 3rd instead of taking the tailor-made double play. I don't like a lot of the John Schmaltz-isms, and they never really showed what it was looking at like at 1st and 2nd. But you take the double play if you're Volpe. Garrett Cole and Anthony Rizzo, we will talk about them in a little bit. But I think Volpe needs a little bit more shit than he's been given here. Because you had 2 outs served out to you. You try and get the lead runner, and all of a sudden you load the bases with nobody out. But Cole is effective. He gets 2 outs. He's ready to get out of this inning. Betts hits a weird ground ball. Cole thinks Rizzo's going to the bag. Rizzo thinks Cole's going to the bag. Mookie Betts absolutely is busting ass out of the box. That was his 8th fastest sprint speed recorded this year. His 14th fastest home to first. He wanted it badly, and the Yankees messed up. I get it was a weird bounce. I get all that stuff. But as the pitcher, you wait for the first baseman to wave you off, which Rizzo never did. That was on you, Garrett Cole, and then it just flooded out from there. 5 unearned runs. Dodgers have tied this game up, and unbelievably, I don't even know how to react at this point because I felt like, quite honestly, we didn't deserve it. We capitalized on the mistakes. Freeman and Hernandez had huge hits to tie this one, but they should not have been in that position to begin with. A lot of bad defense from the Yankees. They're eventually able to pull ahead on a Giancarlo Stanton sac fly, but then we get to the Aaron Boone bullpen management. Is Tim Hill, Tommy Kahnle, Luke Weaver, Mark Leiter, they all pitched in the previous 2 days, and all of a sudden you're looking at it like, oh no, how are we going to get outs here? And it comes to bite them in the 8th because all of a sudden they cannot get outs, and it leads to 2 sac flies for the Dodgers off Weaver, who just did not look as sharp as he did earlier in the series when he was asked to pitch, because this is him on the 3rd consecutive day. He is tired, and it really showed there. No command from any of those guys. Rough stuff overall. But the Dodgers are not out of the woods just yet, as Blake Trinan has to go 2 1/3 to go and rescue this series for the Dodgers. Unbelievable, heroic stuff from Trinan. Masterful. And now the question is, who pitches the 9th? Because there is not an arm in that bullpen that isn't taxed and it isn't used. But Walker effing Buehler steps up and continues his Madison Bumgarner-esque run. I understand it wasn't as much length, but no pitcher besides Bumgarner pitches in the World Series the way Buehler does. And it's so fitting. The man who got traded to kick off this dynasty, Alex Verdugo, who was traded for Mookie Betts, strikes out to begin it in earnest. Unbelievable stuff. So much grit and fight from this Dodgers team. It really was their series to lose after Game 2. And even after Game 1, quite frankly, they were the better team. They made fewer mistakes. They chased a lot more than they were in the postseason, but they came up big when it mattered most. There were a lot of complaints and a lot of, frankly, frustrating situations over the years where the Dodgers could not get it done. Bases loaded against Arizona in Game 2. They were 1 for, I think, 21 or something ridiculous like that, with runners in scoring position in the division series in 22. Second and third, no outs against Atlanta in 2021. Tyler Matzik strikes out the side, but this team was built different. I don't want to say they're grittier. They won 98 games. They were the best team in baseball, but they were grittier than a lot of other teams. And ultimately, it was the team that we've been waiting for so long, and I'm glad we have this ring because no one can take it away from us. No one can say it's fake. And this is not only for the players and the city, but for players like Tyler Glasnow, who went down injured, Gavin Stone, who gave this team so much. Might be the non-Ohtani MVP, quite frankly. And it's just beautiful overall. But before we talk about all the Yankees stuff and where they go from here, let's hear a quick word from our sponsor.
We want to give a huge thank you to Boom Fantasy for sponsoring this episode. Boom Fantasy is a betting app like something you've never seen before. Their pick and spin feature allows you to cash out 500 times your money on a 2-leg parlay. If that's not your style, they have a traditional pick'em as well. You could adjust the stats and your payout will adjust accordingly on their app. So pretty much you pick the lines you want to bet. Use code RTP or click the link in the description for a 50% deposit match up to $1,000. Simple, fun, daily fantasy sports. Gamble responsibly.
For the Yankees, my goodness. I don't know where you're going to go from here. Aaron Boone just managed this series so poorly. The bullpen management was awful. The defense was awful. The lineup construction was kind of awful at some points. The way this roster was built is kind of flawed too, as you saw with Wells and Rizzo and Verdugo. Like, they didn't have as much depth in the bottom of the lineup as the Dodgers did. And now Soto is going to demand a lot of money, $500, $600 million. I don't know how they're going to really fix this situation here. This was probably their best chance to win it, and they got nowhere close to it. In all honesty, they should have been up about 3 games to 2 going back to Los Angeles. But they blew it time and time again. It's really going to be an interesting offseason in the Bronx here because it is a difficult situation with Soto needing to be paid, Torres needing to be paid, the rotation needing to be shored up, and the lineup needing extra depth. Let's see what Cashman does overall. But before we end this story off, I just want to talk about just the season overall. There are so many great moments, regardless what team you root for. But the one thing that kind of stands out to me is when Charlie Blackmon announced his retirement. He's been, I don't want to say the villain, but he's been someone I've always disliked as a Dodgers fan. But then it kind of hits you that you're never really going to see him again. As it's over. This is the last time I will ever see him. So when I went to Coors at the end of the year, I gave him a standing ovation. I yelled "Tonight" like all the other Rockies fans for his batting song. And it really just shows, as much as World Series titles and bad defensive miscues and everything we talk about do matter, is these people are humans at the end of the day. And you may see them as heroes, you may see them as villains, but cherish them while they're there, because you don't know what you have and what you'll be missing out on going forward until it's ultimately gone. So I, for one, will not take this season for granted, even if we had lost this World Series. I will cherish the moments and memories I made along the way. Hopefully you guys do the same, whether it's baseball, life, basketball, whatever brings you joy. Cherish the moments, cherish the heroes, and cherish your villains, because you never know when they'll be gone. And the moments will fleet, but the memories will last forever. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the content, go ahead and leave a like. Is this a Mickey Mouse ring? Please let me know in the comments down below. I would love to argue with everyone who calls it a Mickey Mouse ring. And as always, don't forget on the way out, play ball.